Welcome to the Loopers podcast. I am Nick Johnson alongside Brendan Kelley, Henry Shellhorn, and Thomas Bell. Today we're going to be diving into the 45th Ryder Cup and what went down at Bethpage Black this past September.
The Ryder Cup is a biannual golf tournament competition played between Europe and the United States. It's played between two 12-man teams, one made up of American players and the other made up of European players.
Each team has a captain who gets six captain's picks and creates the pairings for the competition. This year's 2025 Ryder Cup was held in New York at the Bethpage Black course at Bethpage State Park. Bethpage Black is currently ranked as the 38th greatest golf course in the world.
The 45th edition of the Ryder Cup took place from September 26th to September 28th, 2025 at the legendary Bethpage Black course in Farmingdale, New York. It's one of the sport's great team golf clashes. 12 top players from the United States taking on 12 of Europe's finest in a match play format across 3 intense days.
Many people were calling this 2025 Ryder Cup one of the most anticipated sporting events. According to a Golf Digest article a week before the Ryder Cup, a quote was taken from it. It is not an overstatement to say that this is the most anticipated Ryder Cup in history. Bethpage Black is known to be one of the hardest courses in America. Just kind of curious what you guys think about this and maybe why this 2025 Ryder Cup is the most anticipated one yet.
Well, I mean, I think it's the course kind of like speaks for itself. Yeah, like we've obviously all seen like the warning sign in front of Bethpage Black. So like there's that, and it's also just like I don't know, like it was like it's always cool when the Ryder Cup rolls around. It's pretty much like the Olympics for like old white guys. So I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I
That's
think
why I was pumped about it. I was like, oh, like Bethpage, like not a ton of people get to play it a year, and it's all like some New York City old golfers showing up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to try to get a tee time, and then it's like the best golfers on planet Earth are gonna take it on.
Yeah.
absolutely. I think part of what I heard about the hype around it was Keegan Bradley. I think he played golf at Saint St. John's in
yeah,
New
he
York.
in
And
uh
so
in
that was his
Queens.
home course, right?
Yeah, he would play there on like Sundays and Mondays when, the team was off and go out with a few of his buddies.
Yeah. And I think USA and that being in New York, just outside of New York City, like that's American. Like that's USA going up against some of the best golfers from Europe. And I remember I think in the last full swing season on Netflix, I mean the tensions always get pretty high. There was an argument. Of course, Rory McIlroy was chirping with I think it was Scotty Scheffler's caddy, maybe. They were going after it, just arguing. So I think all of that added up to the anticipation of it.
Yeah, I think that we've seen a rise in the golf world in the last 5 years, ever since COVID. And this is a event that was new to some people, and it also lined up to be there was like a crazy college football slate that day. There was MLB on. There was every sport was going on at the time, and it was said to be like one of the best sporting weekends like of all time. So I think the Ryder Cup paired with a lot of these other sports, it was a big weekend for a lot of people, a lot of sport fans.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I didn't know what to watch that weekend.
Yeah, it was like I'm gonna put the YouTube TV's four screen up and just sit on the couch all day.
I think that the pride going into it of American versus other countries is a big part of it, and the anticipation of it's very different than any other golf tournament. It's not just every player kind of for themselves. It's a country and it's a team, and it kind of brings the whole country together, and really makes for like a big event and a really anticipated event.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which like and also like you for the fans itself, so, like you're not cheering for one player, you're cheering for one team. And I don't know, I think throughout, especially on Saturday, I thought the United States fans were just totally out of line. Um, which like cool, fine. Like you can like at the waste management, people are getting banged up all the time. So it's like, okay, like at what point? But I don't know. I just feel like there was a lot of instances where like it totally just crossed the line in terms of drunkenness and like throwing throwing stuff. So
Totally.
Yeah,
would you?
I don't know. I think that the difference between the Ryder Cup and the Waste Management is there's an enemy at the Ryder Cup when it's especially when it's in the US. You know, at the Waste Management, nobody's really booing anybody unless they missed the green on
More
whatever it is,
celebrating.
16, you know, but at the Ryder Cup, especially in New York, like Europe is the enemy. So the drunken fans have something to take their anger out on. They have something to boo. They have players to cuss at and rile up and whatnot. And so I think that I mean I think it's awesome. I'm not opposed to it. Golf is, especially PGA golf, is one of the most like strict old-fashioned sports where you're not yelling, you're not doing any of that. So the one chance that these fans get, like obviously they're going to take that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say this is the only event in golf that you can kind of get away with chirping players and kind of doing and saying nonsense on the course. This is what a lot of these guys live for. Like I know JT, Justin Thomas, like he said like I play golf because of the Ryder Cup.
Mhm.
So a lot of these guys, this is their Super Bowl.
Yeah, I also think that some of the live guys, they're probably used to it, which also was a part of the appeal to this event, I think, is because like seeing Bryson play, usually you're not like, I mean, I'm not watching live events. I don't know anybody that will go out of their way to watch a live event. The only time I see Bryson is on YouTube and Instagram. So this was also a big appeal was watching him and some of the other guys on Europe that play in the live. But I feel like they're probably used to it at those events because of how rowdy it gets and the fans throwing their drinks and whatnot. But for the more traditional guys, especially Rory McIlroy, like he's not built for the chirping and the cussing and whatnot, and it was clearly shown in his reaction to it all.
Yeah, Rory was probably one of the big faces of this year's Ryder Cup. There was a lot of commotion of him like all over social media. Like I remember a fan like threw a beer at his wife and he kind of nipped at that guy and as he should. Like, that's really not cool. Um, what else? I mean, Rory said, shut the fuck up to a fan, and that's like totally out of the golf world, lingo and etiquette and everything. Um,
Well, I'm gonna attempt to roll the clip. We'll see. There you go.
yeah, I mean, as he should, he's like standing over a shot. It's the fucking Ryder Cup. Like, let the guy play. Um, after the whole thing, I saw tons of media outlets and comments on social media being that this was like the most abusive golf event ever. Like,
Yeah, I
pe-
mean, which is, I mean, another instance with like Roy is like, I think he was like warming up just on the range. And like, it was a funny chirp. Some guy said, like, you don't need a button to choke. Just like calling out Roy's just, he's always going to choke at some, like, he's always going to choke a big tournament. Um, like, that was funny. Everyone got a laugh out of it. But it's like, that was constant throughout the tournament. It was just, I'm not like a super traditionalist guy when it comes to like being a fan and like being a player on the course, but I was just like appalled by it. Especially just because like everybody's watching us completely make a fool of ourselves.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, I
really
think yeah.
in the viewpoint and of everything of the whole world, not just the PGA fan base, but the whole world. And because this is such a big event, it's not just golf fans, it's also just sports fans in general. So what are kind of our personal reactions of the anticipation and also after the event? Brendan, do you want to kind of touch on what your personal reaction was?
Yeah, a lot of the things we've said as we went throughout the podcast, but Keegan Bradley should have played. Being that Cameron Young on Sunday had an all-time performance, and he was like one of the last call-ups. That stuff like that should not really happen. You should have your elite players being the guys that are leading the day on Sunday, but we had the young guy. We talked about how golf is like an individual sport. Guys like JJ Spawn, Scotty, Bryson, they don't know what to do when they get put on a team. They're kind of lost because this is the only time that they are going to play on a team. It's a personal game, and yeah, that's kind
Yeah,
of my take of the whole thing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, before the event, I was so excited for the Ryder Cup to come. Like, I was getting so hype, and I saw all like the hype videos like on TikTok and on Instagram and the different videos that the players themselves were posting and like like getting ready, getting excited, hyped up for the event and everything. And that got me, my all my friends who I know are into golf, like got everyone pretty excited because it was on our home soil. It was a lot of players that we've been watching, and it was just a very exciting event. And after the first 2 days, it was terrible because they played so bad. They got killed the first 2 days. So the excitement going into the weekend of like what you said earlier, Brendan, it was called the best sports weekend of the year. I mean, there was the Ryder Cup, there was Bama played Georgia, LSU played Ole Miss, Oregon played Penn State in football, and then on Sunday there was final day of MLB regular season, and then a bunch of big NFL games. So this was like one of the biggest anticipated sports weekends of the year. And with the just bad play in the beginning, it was shitty. And that made Sunday, when Sunday came, I mean, personally, I was barely even like interested in like waking up and like turning it on. Where the first day I was immediately on that. And then the USA, like we said, kind of made a little bit of a comeback and a little bit of a push, which made me get a little bit more interest, but still the margin was so big that it was just kind of not winnable, and that was pretty frustrating. And
When we go play in Europe in 2 years, we're probably just going to get reamed by them.
Yeah,
totally,
and
Mhm.
They
we're
probably won't understand what they're saying, but they're probably just going to get the feeling of it.
oh yeah,
I mean, we're playing in Ireland in Limerick, and like
Mhm.
I'm like 100% Irish, and those people over there are not nice.
it's gonna be insane.
They are
Interior
not
is
nice.
nuts.
I also wanted to say like it's hard to like Rory in general, but it was really hard to like him after this event and seeing all the things that he said about it, and like him chirping back to the fans was like totally out of line in my opinion. But
I
the
agree.
fans were not nice. So
Yeah.
I guess I would,
It is hard to like Roy. The only time I think I liked Roy all year was when he finally got a grand slam.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
And then
100%.
I woke up the next day and I was like, cool. All right.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah, well, I think he had another event earlier this season where he had taken the kid's phone, who was some kid was chirping him, talking, and Roy walked up and
Yeah.
grabbed the phone from him. Like he's making himself unlikable, and I just think it's so interesting because he consistently is like one of the best golfers in the world, and I never really noticed the hate for him until probably over the past just couple of seasons, especially this year. But I think it's really interesting how people are kind of changing their reputation, especially like Bryson DeChambeau, who also played in the Ryder Cup. Like he's kind of doing the reverse Rory, where he was hated for such a long time, just called a weirdo, and now I think because of social media, he's kind of working his way back into the positive limelight of golf.
I don't know.
Big and only takeaway was Scotty Scheffler beating Rory McIlroy one on Sunday. That's some USA pride to take from the Ryder Cup. You know, world number one and world number two, and of course Scotty reigns victorious against the bitch Rory McIlroy. So I think I think that's a good way to sum it up. Not the loss of US, but the victory of Scotty Scheffler. So